All right, all right. Hey, listen, welcome. This is Rigo Murillo. I am so pumped for you guys to be here. I've got a special guest that I can't wait to introduce you guys to. But before that, let's take 2 seconds, actually more about 37, I believe, and let's go ahead and get a quick glimpse of who it is we're going to meet today. So be back in 1 second. All right. So with us today is our special guest, Maury Abreu. Maury Abreu. Maury, you there?
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, man. Listen, excited to talk to you. Been following you for a little while here and been excited about the things that you're doing. Just it seems a lot about the character of who you are as a business owner, as a husband, as a father, and the things you're doing for the community. So really appreciate you being here. And also want to talk about some of the fun stuff too that we love to talk about. One of them is this badass G10 blade. I don't know what to call this other than awesome. So I want to talk a little bit about this. So real quick, just before we get into some of the nitty, tell me a little bit about this. What is this? What is this material? And why is this so badass?
Sure. So really appreciate you having me on. Very excited to share. So that's our B2. That's the Omega B2 stealth tool. We're calling it a tool. It is a point-driven tool. It's G10, which means it's exceptionally strong and it's non-metallic. So it is not detectable by a metal detector.
Okay.
And as far as the design, I designed it to where if you have a basic concept of how to throw a standard punch, you literally just grab it exactly as you would a pistol, except you're not taking time to find the trigger guard in any way. You're literally grabbing it by the grip and pointing it towards your intended target and pressing on there as needed. So that was a design feature on it. It's a grab and punch tool, non-metallic, lightweight, and super strong.
You know, I appreciate you sending this ahead of time too, by the way. Thank you so much. I've been looking at some of the I mean, you got me hooked. Listen, it's like your first tattoo, right? You get one and then you got to get more. Now you're always checking them out. So now I'm always checking out your website, the Omega Protective Concepts. By the way, we're going to have all of this links and where to find Maury and his companies, his organizations, everything about what we're doing today will all be available for you guys. But here's what was crazy about it. When I looked at this, I was not sure this was going to be comfortable. It feels so comfortable in your clothes. You don't even know it's there.
Yeah, that was the idea.
It's pretty cool. So for those of you guys who may have not seen the promo video, we're talking about a man here. I got to pull up the list because there's a lot. Okay. So we're talking about 25 years of combined military, law enforcement, counterterrorism experience. So we're talking about an expert in things of weaponry. How do you say edge weapons? Is that correct?
Yes.
Right. Edge weapons, restraint and control, chemical sprays, batons, physical fitness, defensive tactics, boxing, combative firearms, and use of force in all of these. Is that correct?
Yes.
And not only are you nationally certified instructor, but you're considered a subject matter expert in these things. That's dude, that's not to mention you're a father of 6. Is that right?
Yes.
A husband. Yeah, this is just a long list of some pretty cool stuff. I want to get into a little bit of your background. I want to know more about what got you here. So maybe you can kind of combine that answer. How did you end up in this place right now in your career? Where is this coming into the equation, and why?
Yeah. So Maury Abreu, everybody asks me, how do you say your last name? It's Abreu. So, I have Marine Corps and law enforcement and counterterrorism experience. I have gone on to be, again, nationally certified and recognized within different agencies, within the law enforcement community and within the federal agent, amongst, different federal agencies, writing curriculums for them, specifically within the realm of extreme close quarter. So how to get people and how to teach people, and actually myself deploying globally around the world armed and low signature, low profile, undercover posture, again, defending people that don't know we are there in teams defending them, and having them have a large number of tools, weapons, firearms, and other things throughout their body, blending in, and then teaching people how to carry that equipment, how to use that equipment, and deploy it in an extreme close quarter environment, right? So that's what I have done professionally, and went on to teach at our academy for over 5 years. And so as far as naming specifically what I do, I have to keep it general because I've signed a contract with my employer that I would do that so that I can do things like this in my business and kind of keep things in general terms.
So real quick, is that one of those, if I had to tell you, I'd have to kill you things? Is that what this is? Is that what this is, Maury? Is that what you're telling me?
I don't know that would be ethical, moral, or legal. I don't know that rates the standard for that level of force or response, but someone might show up at your house.
But that's one of those, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah. So that's kind of the deal on what I do now. I was raised in I love my parents. They've both passed on. I was raised in an exceptionally toxic, abusive, both physical and psychologically, household. And I was always very driven towards, what people call martial arts or fighting. It always kind of caught my attention. It was my outlet. It was my ability to breathe and release the pressure, because the pressure has to always go somewhere.
Yeah.
And so, I found myself doing that, and I was able to meet an instructor and a trainer that took me in as a young child and taught me how to protect myself and defend myself. And then as God would have it, I ended up serving in the United States Marine Corps. I became a close combat instructor, and then I started doing this professionally, up to and including, doing this within the counterterrorism realm, writing curriculums for different agencies in relation to how do you take someone and equip them for success against all levels of violence. And I went ahead and launched my company in 2011, Omega Protective Concepts, where I essentially leveraged my years of experience in my civilian life and in my military life and in my counterterrorism experience. And I started making skill sets available to people, not just based on the resume. And what I mean by that is I used to exclusively train law enforcement and military. And what I realized is a person's life does not have more or less value based on their resume. So your wife, I have of the 6 of our children, 5 are girls. And
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I have 2. I'm just telling you right now, brother, I'm sorry. Yeah.
So, I started making this training available to the masses because it's important, and violence is a real thing. And violence is one of the truest and most honest things that exist in this world. it has no boundary, right? So regardless of a person's economic or financial status, race, religion, location, it really is a global thing. It's more prominent in some areas than others, but you can't stop violence from existing, but you can do something about being equipped for success for that violence. And even people that are kind of shy about that, come talk to me when you send off your girl or your boy to college away 5 states over for the first time.
Yeah.
And they really don't know anything as it relates to, being careful when they're out with friends, or maybe they're starting to, do things as young adults that they didn't do when they were under your protection. So that's how we kind of came about launching Omega Protective Concepts and making it open to folks that were not law enforcement and military. So as long as you're a responsible citizen and you're a law-abiding citizen, and you look to do the right thing and protect yourself and those you love, we offer courses and services and products for them.
It's interesting you say this, more because this isn't just the untrained. This is the trained. I've had some opportunity to see some of the video of some of your training. I'm going to just check real quick. Donnie, do we have that one video with the seatbelt in the car? Can we cue that? Let's run this up real quick. I don't know more if you'll be able to see it, but the audience will. Let's go ahead and cue that up.
Stand by. Threat.
So right now, you are destroying this guy in the car. Play it again, Don. You're sitting in the driver's seat. There's a person in the passenger seat. I'm assuming he's pretending to be a your seat buckled in, and you immediately go into a pit bull style type of an attack. Use hands, teeth, and then obviously exit. Right? And tell me, is this what we talk about when you say close quarters?
That's a example, absolutely. So that came from a series that I went out and shot with a gentleman named Kelly McCann, who's a master combatives instructor, world-renowned instructor, and has done this at the highest level, training, tier 1 military units, every lettered agency, and all the secret cool guys that people, make movies about. And so we joined. He brought me on to assist him and to create, if you will, and express the curriculum he had developed for dealing with attacks that occur in and around vehicles, right? Where people are either made to go into their own vehicle and kind of held there, if you will, almost hostage, right? Or someone is, they enter their car, they unlock their car, and as they get in, someone comes in through the passenger seat or what have you, any combination of that, being held being held at gunpoint.
Yeah.
While you're getting in your car, someone before you close your door coming up behind you, and just teaching people how to deal with all these things, up to and including training people on how to use their vehicle as a weapon against another vehicle when they are blocked, and how to escape that, whether they are going in reverse or driving forward, what parts of the blocking vehicle you would drive into and how you would do that. So that piece of that video is a very small piece of the larger element, which deals specifically within the realm of attacks occurring in and around your vehicle.
So one of the things that I've noticed, and there was a shirt you were wearing in one of your videos, and
less is more.
Yes, thank you. Less is more, and you talk about key basics. Get into it a little bit here for me, because this seems like such a niche, such a we're going to kind of go back and forth here, right? What you do is cool, but you're also a business owner. And so here you go. You're a combat expert. You're this list, right? This huge list of things you've done and accomplishments. As you're going out into the marketplace, you would think that what you're doing is massively complex. And one of the things I've heard you talk about is technique versus habits and building these key basics, what you call less is more. Talk to me about this. What's the importance of this
Sure.
in your business?
Sure. So there was a term that was coined some years ago, and like everything else in every business, once things catch fire, it gets diluted, right? And this happens in every aspect of business. This is especially true.
Like the word entrepreneur?
Yes. And so this is especially true in the close combat, hand-to-hand combatives. I will loosely use the term martial arts world. And the vernacular is hijacked and prostituted as a result, right? Mm. So what do I mean by that? We do things that the term I'm specifically referencing is reality-based training. Mm. What reality-based training does mean originally is we're going to take someone, regardless of who they are, regardless of what their job is. So if we're training a military person that's operating either single or alone, or we're training a uniformed officer or an undercover officer that's plainclothes, or we're training someone's spouse, is setting an environment that is as realistic as possible, and then having them perform and respond to different stimulus, different forms of attack in a way that promotes the highest probability for success for them, using by design. So here's the thing. By design, intentionally limited number of techniques. So that's kind of a way to paraphrase. We teach principles as the golden rule. The techniques fall under the umbrella of principles. So instead of you learning, here's a technique for someone if they say put a firearm to my face and I'm facing them. Here's what happens if someone comes up behind me and they place a firearm in my back. Or here's what happens if, as I'm opening my door and I go to sit down, before I get that door closed, bad guy comes up, jams the door open, and sticks a gun in my face. I'm seated in my car. He's standing outside. The gun's in my face. Regardless of those three, the principles never change for countering that level of violence against you. And we get people to understand the principle and really have that cemented. And then we give them drills where they're using techniques that fit the principle, and their confidence goes up, and they're burning this data onto the software so they can recall it under duress using simple techniques. If you do the antithesis of that and you try to teach someone, here's what we do in this scenario using these techniques, and you make it technique based, what you're doing is confusing someone by design, because they will not be able to recall that under duress, because stress stimulus is overwhelming. And if you actually think that someone is pointing a firearm at you and they could possibly use it to end your life, the level of the stress response and how the pituitary gland gets activated and dumps these hormones into our body by design, the way we were perfectly designed by a perfect creator.
Yeah.
Things that happen that make us perform not as exceptional as we do in training.
So here's what I think is interesting is I'm listening to your entire conversation. You're talking about life or death situations, right? What I believe, right, with people of your skill called no fail missions, right? Right. You gotta come home on this, right? Life or death situations, the importance of the basics. I have to assume that this type of habit building process that you have in what you do to help these people, trained or not trained, learn how to respond with the basics. This is kind of one of the same things that you're doing in how you're building your business, how you've moved as an entrepreneur through the process. Because one thing I'm not a scientist, but I do know this: your body doesn't identify one level of stress different from another, right? stress is stress. Now, obviously, some can definitely drop a heck of a lot more chemicals, into your system, a fight or flight. But you know what? A lot of business owners, entrepreneurs, they put that same level of stress on their bodies, on themselves, that somebody would in a flight or fight situation. And it's interesting that you talk about teaching the basics, because the basics is what our mind is going to revert back to when we need those critical areas of survival. And I just think it's so interesting as I think through this. I mean, really, let's think about that, right? Your business today, it's not overly complex, yet you're successful and you're doing something and you're improving somebody's life that very few are able to do simply by teaching the basics. Does this make sense?
Yeah. For any of your folks, referencing your ATF weekly lives, right? So
Yeah.
if you take someone that's a brand new shooter, or you take someone like my friend JJ Ricasa, who's one of the top ranked shooters on planet Earth, also one of the most humble people you'll ever meet. JJ will tell you that, and he used to tell this to the students all the time at the academy when we worked together. He said, I'm not doing anything different than you. So you're being taught the basics. All a master is, at least in this realm, is someone that has mastered the basics. And JJ shoots his pistol like a machine gun with precision because he's very efficient and he's mastered the basics. So it looks cool and it is cool, but he's not doing things outside of the basics, because when you depart from that, it's inefficient and you're slower and you're less effective.
That's a master is just somebody who's mastered the basics. I love that. Yeah. It's interesting because, I work with a lot of different business owners, and I can't say it enough. For the longest time when I first got started, I was afraid that possibly I wasn't going to be able to do what I thought I could do and I could help, right? A lot of times we mistakenly look for confidence, but the truth is it's just a need for courage, right? So we're mistaking confidence and courage and to step out. And what I continue to find, Maury, it is usually the simplest, most basic items that are not working. It's something as simple as, I laughed about this. I saw a business owner in social media asking for help in a local business group, but he had blocked the ability for you to communicate with him through his Facebook. So he's asking for help, but nobody can help him because he's made it impossible for you to communicate with.
Right.
I know this is a very, very simple version of that, but it is crazy how many times as I work with business owners that the simple items is what they're not paying attention to, and they're overthinking everything. They're trying to spend all this money in some crazy level of marketing or some new campaign when they're just not following up with the customers they have. Right? Like, it's these things. So it's interesting as you go through this, the correlation, right, between the two.
Yes.
Tell me about the business in the sense, like, today you are doing multiple things. So we know about Omega protective concepts, but there's also a new venture with a company by the name of VOG Tactical. Is this correct?
Yes. So VOG Tactical, Virtus Outdoor Group, is a extreme attire and equipment and clothing line. Virtus Outdoor Group, VOG, ran by David Wood. And so highly successful. They make this product that actually does what it says it's going to do. And the clothing feels a certain way, it fits a certain way, and it's made for the person that's on the go and living, a lifestyle of wanting to do more and wanting to be more, being outdoors. It's a lot of climbers, a lot of skiers, a lot of people that live this life outside, hunters. And so it attracts a lot of military folks and a lot of extreme sports, extreme endurance event folks are attracted to this line, Virtus Outdoor Group. And so from that, we are birthing myself, David Wood, combat Marine, and Jonathan Solomon, SOCOM, CIA contractor, highly, highly, highly skilled people, and myself, us three coming together to birth and cradle this new idea, this new business, which is VOG Tactical, Virtus Outdoor Group Tactical, not just training tier 1 units, military units, but also conducting humanitarian operations, specifically within the realm of human trafficking, and providing the aftercare and rehabilitation for those that have been victimized by this highly traumatic life, and partnering with NGOs, NPOs, different government entities, Emirates Airlines, to come together, teach them how to identify certain behaviors to help us really combat this extreme form of evil and do our small part in actually changing the world and someone's world.
So tell me more about this, because, one of the things I love about Tim Tebow is how open he is about this, and so many are afraid to talk about it. Listen, unfortunately, in some of the as a father of 6, this is a subject that usually gets me heated, but in some of the areas that should be the safest for families, the most abuse is happening and going on. And by far, one of the most not only disgusting things that is happening, but it seems to be the most untalked about, covered up. Nobody wants to expose issue that's going on. And I believe you probably know this better than me, but outside of narcotics, am I right in saying that it is the number 1 highest criminal exported product is humans?
Yeah, so the statistics I'm told recently have changed, but essentially the numbers on them are shifting. But behind the sale of drugs, illegal drugs, is a sale of weapons, is a sale of humans within the realm of human trafficking, of which children number in the millions. And it's a very real thing. The number 1 consumer of child sex trafficking and abuse are Americans.
That's
America. I just recently saw probably the same video, or probably we've both probably seen the video that Tim Tebow, it's kind of going viral right now, thank God. What my understanding is, on a very surface level, because I haven't checked into this yet, is it looks as though he's trying to really get all these different entities,
nonprofits and yep.
Yeah. So it's an absolutely necessary thing for us to kind of join forces on, because there is no limit to the amount of people that participate in this sort of what they call a business, and it's very lucrative. A person that sells drugs, you sell that drug, it's gone. You sell a 9 mil, it's gone. You sell a child, the child can be sold 10 to 15 times a day. And through my organization, our charity arm is King's Ransom Foundation.
Okay. So we'll make sure to have that link in here as well, too. Yep.
Yeah, sure. So what we do at Omega Protective Concepts is I give 10% of whatever gross proceeds goes directly to our charity arm. That's where our hands and feet operate, as far as the widow, the poor, and the orphan. That's what we focus on. We do that via our charity arm, King's Ransom Foundation. They are super legit. Every 100 pennies of every dollar that's donated to the organization goes directly towards freeing children from sex slavery and providing the aftercare for them. None of it goes to the running of the organization, the staff, the infrastructure, or any of the above on that. So
that's incredible. That's incredible. So, so for the viewers, for those who want to know more about this, number one, 10% of everything that is purchased through your organization goes directly to this. And
any service, any class, anytime we make anything. Yeah.
That's amazing. So how do we share this with the viewers so that they can find out more?
The easiest way to do that is just go to our website, Omega Protective Concepts. And if you go to the Our Mission tab, I've specifically stated our mission is that. Our mission is not anything outside of that. There's a lot of noteworthy, noble, praiseworthy missions. But if you go to Our Mission tab, the only thing you're going to hear will have nothing to do with really our business of equipping people for success against violence. Our mission and everything we do is driven in the sense to, our tithe doesn't necessarily go to a church for bigger building and more lights or infrastructure. It goes towards actually sowing seeds of freedom and actually being a voice for the voiceless and actually taking action that is going to have an immediacy and an impact. And we're going to leverage that because, finances are a resource. They're a tool that make these things possible. Providing rehabilitation for someone that's been through, imagine the PTSD that a child that has been multiple times for years. It's almost difficult to kind of stomach or think about. But here's the thing about the truth. Someone taught me this a really long time ago. The truth only has to whisper. The volume of the truth doesn't make it more true. Right? So this thing really is happening.
Yeah.
That is the truth. It is happening on a global scale. It is being leveraged through this. And it actually, cyber trafficking exponentially rose during COVID and lockdowns. So instead of just not talking about it, and I tell people this all the time whenever we post, we just made a $300 donation yesterday or today, and then we had one of our private clients donate himself an additional $100. And so what we tell people is don't just like the post and don't just say this is amazing or don't just get pissed off about it. Actually give $1. If you have $1, give that and take some action and actually sow a seed instead of just doing what we do today way too much when it comes to politics, faith, social issues. Is we talk a lot and we do very little. That's kind of what we're going to be known for decades from now. This age that we're living in, there's a whole lot of talk. And we're wondering why the world is upside down and why things are shifting in the direction that they're shifting is because good, righteous people and good, righteous men are not being leaders and we're not taking action.
Dude, that's right. I'm like, man, you're about to get me started. You are, man, you're spot on, Maury. Spot on. It's an area of execution, right? This goes to some basic fundamentals about not just in men, but specifically, you see more of it with men than you do with women. But the aspect that they are not true to their word, and that there is a level of ethics and morality that no longer become priority over anything else. the sense of pride to do what's right because it needs to be done. You posted a video I saw the other day of they were doing a test out in the city, and they had men grabbing children right in front of other people, and they would keep walking, and they'd look back down at their phone, and they would keep going. I've seen situations similar to this in my life, not children, but situations where somebody was in a bad position and needed somebody with virtue to stand up for that person. And I found myself, men like you and I, Maury, we're those guys. And this is why you, me, and others like us always end up finding each other. It has got to be one of the most disappointing things for me to see so many willing to keep their head down and not say something. Even to their neighbors. I'm a part of an HOA and here locally, and I had that conversation with our HOA here recently, and I said, and instead of asking us to fix why people are driving too fast, these are your neighbors. Tell them to stop. But nobody will even talk to their neighbors anymore. No one will communicate. No one will go out and get to know each other. They won't do that because then they are going to have to be front and center with things they may not be okay with or will have to be challenged. So instead of learning how to find common ground, whether you're coming from a different religious, political stance, I don't care what position you're in, learning that as humans, we all have the same foundation and fundamental needs. We want to be loved. We want to take care of our families and children. We want a safe place. We want to have in our minds a level of success. We want to be successful. And everybody's interpretation is different, but those values don't change. And there should be no reason why we can't find common ground in that value and say human life is priority one, right? Priority one. So regardless of what our thoughts are on anything, at this point, we are bonding and we're not going to allow those things to happen in front of us and not confront it. It's crazy. And I love what you're doing, not just from a business standpoint, but the awareness that you bring up with this, and how you and your organizations are working towards it. Then on top of it, the ability to take training and teach these basic fundamentals in understanding weapons and how to protect themselves and their families. This is unfortunately not the world that our parents grew up in. It is not the ones when we were children, even though we have grown up in some rough areas, both you and I would still choose that before growing up in a rough area today, because it's not the same. And it has gotten worse, and there's less men out there stepping up to do their part in protecting the innocent.
And taking action. One of the things we did with kind of in this vein of what we're addressing now in the conversation is we've set up our page, our Omega Protective Concepts page. And again, under that Our Mission tab, you could read up a little bit more about our mission as it relates to King's Ransom Foundation and the freeing of trafficked and enslaved children within sex trafficking. And you could sow seeds of freedom and donate without ever purchasing any of our products, without ever being taking any of our classes. So it's not that you have to, we're not the only source feeding that campaign. And so that's a really beautiful thing. We're a very unique combative self-defense training company in the sense that we actually travel to train. I don't have a home gym. I don't work out of a dojo. I partner with different folks, and I travel everywhere, and I bring my training to them. We do a hosting document, and we go over some kind of basic things that need to occur for the location and the amount of people that would be paying to go to the class. But we're about taking action and kind of being imperfect vessels. At least I know I'm an imperfect vessel.
You and me both, bro. Like you and me both. It's all over my face, right? I think people they're like, "Oh yeah, he ain't right. He ain't right. There's something wrong with that guy."
Yeah. and just leveraging, the stage that we've been given for whatever reason. People, follow us, they listen to us, they respect us. There's something about us that people want to learn more about. It's like, hey, that's great, but there's more to this thing than what you see. There are people that really, really, really need help, and here's how you could do that. And again, take action in that. I've had a lot of people, God bless them, some of them my friends, they want to get on a helicopter and they want to do a search and rescue thing. And it's like, okay, well, we're going to be doing that with Virtus Outdoor Group, and you're not going to be on that helicopter. Like, that's not happening. Well, here's what you can do, right? So that may hurt someone's feelings. I'm not really concerned about their emotions. I'm concerned with taking action.
That's
and
right.
changing the world and changing someone's world.
That's right. No, it's incredible. Your accomplishments are great, Maury. The things you do, obviously, I have a massive interest in all of them. Perfectly frank. Listen, if you're just joining now and watching live, hashtag live. If you're watching this on a replay, hashtag replay. So that way we know what's going on. I'd love to know if you have any questions for Maury. Drop them here in the comments box. Also, if you like what we're doing, if you like this interview, you want to know more about Maury's organization, drop a text to 316-799-8052, 316-799-8052, and we'll reach out. In fact, why don't we do hashtag more, MORE. And what we'll do is we'll get you the links and set up to Maury's organization, what they're doing to the Omega Concepts side of it. And we'll get that out to you. So that way, the next time anything's going on with that group, or at least if you want to get that information sent right to your phone, we'll do that. So anyways, this has been awesome. Just wanted to give you kind of an opportunity to close out a little here. And you've got a lot of cool stuff that's happening. I noticed a couple new knives. And, so I want to see. Hey, Donnie, do we have those photos to show? Okay, so all right, so we got one on the board right now. Ooh, let me see. Is there a way for us to see? I don't know. Yeah. Okay, so Maury, this one is straight blade, gorgeous. It's just a handle fixed. But unfortunately, you can't see it. We haven't figured that part out yet. We'll have to figure out how to share and show you that one. Donnie, what's another one? Show me the next one. So he's putting them online so our audience can see it. But wait, that one's ours, right? That's the one we got. Love this. I love this. We carry it everywhere.
Wait till you see the next one we're designing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you've got this badass little kind of a version like this, but it's got a loop in it.
That's a 2-finger capsule. Yeah.
Hey, tell me about that one.
So here, I'll grab our G10 version. Give me 1 sec.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if this is going to come up on the screen clearly or not. So
okay. Oh, okay.
So this one is in G10. So it's that same blade, but it's non-metallic.
Got it. Okay.
It's dirty because I use it. That's how you get good pictures with tools.
We'll put it up. All right. Donnie's posting a picture so everybody can see what it looks like right now.
Right. So the idea is this 2-finger capsule, if I could do this justice again on the screen, is set to where you can have it in hand. I could open my hand and it's still there. I can, and I'm not going to pick up my Glock and show you, but I can manipulate my trigger finger.
Because it's not.
Correct. I can manipulate my trigger finger. The angle of the blade is such that it's not going to interfere with or interrupt the cycle of operation so that the brass could clear out. It's situated as such that the sheath for it, instead of holding your car keys in your hand, all you would do is hold the blade in your hand. It's sheathed, and imagine my hand and my fists being your keys. So when you're walking to your car or what have you, you're not looking to draw something. You're holding your keys by this 2-finger capsule. You're already armed. So what's the fastest draw? The one you don't have to make, right?
Yeah, there you go. All right, I see it.
Yeah, so that's the idea behind the Redemption blade. It's
Got it.
we have a G10 version, which has a clip that's meant to be carried mostly around the waist, and we have a live version of which we're restocking actually this week. And the idea on that one is the clip on it has a cloth grabber, and I've posted things on this in the past, and that cloth grabber purchases. I'd show on camera, but it's going to get lost.
Yeah. No, it's all right. Donnie will put it up, and we'll drop some pics later on it.
Yeah. And the idea with that blade is like, my goal is for everyone on earth that's a good, decent human and of age, carry that. It truly is an everyday carry blade. So if you need to open up Amazon boxes, if you're, my girls ran track, they would affix it to their sport bra, so they would have something while they're out running. If you are looking, if you're in a suit and tie and you need to find a way to keep a weapon on your body but not look as though you're carrying, or have something that's really small and not easily detected, which is an issue for a lot of the people that I work with.
Especially professionals that travel and
yes, exactly.
A lot of them travel to dangerous cities.
Yeah. So that's the idea behind the 2-finger capsule. It's for ease of carry. It's for dynamic deployment and having a really good purchase and grip. I could hold on to, God forbid, I had to, grab my young ones or my little ones and pick them up. I could have that if it was already deployed in some sense. I could open my car door. I could operate a flashlight. I can do all that with that really small blade. It's tiny. It's going to be legal almost everywhere because it's not a butcher knife, right?
Yeah.
And it's mine. I use it. It looks used. It's just sharp enough to cut open a cardboard, or if I have to use it against a person to save my life, then legally I may have to cut open someone's artery as well. Depends on the application.
Artery, cardboard box.
Yeah.
I love it. Maury, I love it. Listen, this has been awesome, dude. I really appreciate it. I do. I appreciate your time. This has been great. I can't wait to post some photos. I told you we're gonna get on and get some orders, get on that list, because we want to get on the list for those. Donnie and I both think those are pretty badass. I love this one already. You're obviously I would say a fan of the ATF show.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let's say here, you don't have to be an expert, but cigar and whiskey of choice.
Cigar is, I like Dominican cigars, and not because I am Dominican.
I was about to say there's all right.
Yeah. Romeo and Juliet is my thing. Whiskey, I'm not, Irish Mist is pretty good.
So what is your spirit of choice? Are you a beer, rum, vodka, tequila, water?
I'm not a rum guy, which is ironic because, all my uncles drink rum. Yeah. I'm definitely not a rum guy. I have become very fond of, I'm forgetting the brand. It's Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's
tequila.
Yeah, but what's the company?
You know what? We'll see if we can pull it up. Donnie thinks he's got it, but I seen it. I heard a lot about it.
It's amazing. It's really it's a heavenly experience. It's really
Okay. Funny enough, we just started. All of my bourbon, whiskey, scotch groups and friends are not real happy that I'm spending a little more time in the tequila lately.
Yeah.
Listen, I am when it comes to certain alcohols, not certain any. I am not prejudiced. I enjoy having a drink. every now and then. I know everybody probably thinks I'm just boozing up.
Yeah.
It's just pictures, right? Yeah, I have like a glass. I enjoy it now. My cigars, I do enjoy a cigar.
Just getting your beak wet. That's all.
That's it. But no, really, that's really it. But yeah, most people, I get some haters, man. They're like, oh, look what you're doing. You're an alcoholic. You're teaching your children how to be alcoholics. I'm like,
yeah,
I'm actually teaching my children how to enjoy and be a connoisseur of good spirits. So I'm like, listen, my Jesus, first miracle was turning water into wine. That's my boy. So we got along right away.
Yeah.
So anyways, listen.
So to finish answering your question, besides, I'm not a tequila person, but I do like, I forget the brand of it. The Dwayne Johnson's,
I'll remember it.
Yeah. I like
Dottie's putting up a picture on screen now. What's it called? It's called Terramana.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It only took him 10 minutes to find it, but okay.
He does an excellent job, Dad. Stop busting his chops.
Well, on the 8th, right? It's Damn It Donnie. We're getting ready to release our Damn It Donnie shirts. Hashtag.
Yeah.
My producer slash director.
IPAs are the my other thing. I like absolutely any IPA. So if I go out,
same.
And the waitress, is asking me what I want. I say an IPA. They're like, which one? I'm like, just bring me any.
Yep. Bring me the local crowd favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, Maury, great, awesome. Romeo and Juliette, Dominican preferred, and you're an IPA guy. Love it.
Yeah.
Then you would love my bar. And so we got to get together.
Okay.
Listen, I want to thank you again. Thank your wife and children for your time on a Friday afternoon, live here for our group. And I'm excited about the start of this group. I'm excited about what we're doing. Contagious leadership and entrepreneurship secrets. This is something we're getting kicked off this year. This is I believe a calling for myself. I'm enjoying it. We've been blessed. Our business is doing really well, and we wanted to give back, but we wanted to build something that was going to do more than just give people tactics and what they needed to build their business. Honestly, very similar. We're going to the basics, back to the basics, but creating the environment for entrepreneurs and business owners to become contagious in who they are, in their behavior, and their attitude, and what they're doing right now in the world. And it's funny because when we came up with the name, some folks were like, I don't know, contagious. It's kind of a scary word. I go, look, you hang around me long enough, I'm contagious, right? Because when you're in the group of people that are hopeful, joyful, it doesn't matter if things are going bad, but they're always looking at the right side of life. That behavior is contagious. When you're around somebody who's constantly feeding positivity and is wanting to grow, that's contagious. And it's the same thing. You hang around the other side, you're going to contagiously catch that crap. And there's a reason why you're not getting out of your situation. So I'm pumped about the group, and I'm so grateful for you to be here for our first live interview. So thank you, Maury, very much. And again, if you guys want to know more about what we're doing, text me, 316-799-8052. And we will have links to Maury's pages and everything else here for everybody to see. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and bid you guys goodbye. Donnie, let's go ahead and send us out. Give us a little tunes, and we'll be done going live. Maury, thanks a lot, brother.